How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and today we have a black metal album review to do. Holy crap, I know, right? Wasn't expecting to get one of these, but my good friends over at the Flukt camp sent me something really special in the mail, and that is their second album, Omen of Darkness. So, we will be reviewing this today. Pretty stoked to get this, especially with the prices that Bandcamp are charging lately. Holy mackerel. It is somewhere between $20 to $30 to ship one CD to Canada. So thank you so much, Flukt, for sending me this. You are insanely generous, and I am stoked to send you my good words about this album because honestly, it's a good album. It was released October 25th of this year, 2023. It is black metal, purest as it comes, straight out of Norway. And if you don't know Flukt, they started in 2014. The first thing they came out with was in 2015, and that was an EP called Holocaust. After that, they got quick to work on another EP 2 years later, releasing in 2017 called Fortepelse. I can't pronounce that properly, so my apologies, stupid Canadian. And then we moved right along in 2019 to their debut first album, Darkness Devour. I did a review on that pretty much around when it first came out. Again, courtesy of Flukt themselves. Thank you so much for sending me that one as well. If you want to hear all of my intricate detailings and my thoughts on that, I will provide a link for that review in the description box below. Let's check out the CD itself though. Here is the front cover, Omen of Darkness, with some pretty sick nature, foresty artwork. And then as you get closer and closer, you see there's a bit of ruins there, or a ritual being performed, and some blood on the ground from who knows what was sacrificed, and some bones of some animals and stuff. So definitely very ritualistic stuff happening here. Pretty cool. The back shows the track listing. Pretty simple design on the back, just black with the tracks in question there. The inside has some nice DIY independent artwork, just black and white sketches of some skulls being penetrated by nature and branches, and sort of the same on the other side, this kind of skeleton with a tree growing through it. Pretty neat, very simplistic, DIY looking. I enjoy that. Let's see what's in the back of the tray though. It is the band themselves, looking spooky and ghoulish, just as the genre requires you to. I'll have to get the guy on there that's wearing that shirt to tell me what shirt that is. Looks like it says Legion of Doom. I can't quite make it out. And I am pretty sure the guy in the background has a Flukt shirt on behind the teeth of the tray. So yeah, that is what the inside of this CD and album looks like if you get the CD version. I'm not sure if there's going to be a vinyl or not in the future, or if there is. Check their Bandcamp to make sure if you're one of those vinyl fanatics and you can't have anything except analog in your collection. That'll be in the description box as well. So, alright, let's move on to the members themselves. In this project, there is Asbjorn Ostafels on vocals and guitar, Ole Fogerdale on guitar as well. And then we've got Stig Erklev on bass. And last but not least, we have Frederick Halone on drums. My apologies if I pronounced any of those wrong. Again, Canadian. A couple of these members are also in a project that I am obsessed with and can't wait to hear their new EP from Terror Machine. That is some intense, sinister, just ripping shit. Can't wait to hear what you guys got cooking up on that as well. But we're here to talk about Omen of Darkness. Let's see what I think about the vocals. Alright, so the vocals were mid to high volume and mix, slightly above or on par with the guitars. The performance was consistent throughout, and the type of vocals you'll hear are these snarling, demonic, feral growls, as well as some raspy mid-tone growls. Even caught a glimpse here and there of some slightly higher pitched version of the raspy mid-tone growls that are closer to like crow squawking in nature. And in the track Sista Utvei, there was these vulture-esque screeches going on, which was also really cool. So a little bit of variety there at the vocals, no gutturals or deep stuff, but they did a lot of what they could within the black metal realm for vocals. Alright, let's move on to the guitars. The guitars were also mid to high volume in the mix, similar to the vocals, and they're also fairly consistent performance-wise overall as well. The kind of stylings of guitars you can expect to hear out of this album are tremolos, of course, black metal, right? We've got some high-speed power chords, slow groovy riffs, which I enjoyed, some moody melodic compositions, which was a nice spice thrown in there, and we even got a quick brief glimpse of some Sabbath-like riffs, which were apparent in the pallbearer version of Walls Within Walls. So thank you for adding that. I love that shit. Moving on to the bass, it was lower to mid in volume in the mix, just under the guitars and drums, which is to be expected in black metal if you can find a bass guitarist in there at all. It was a good performance from what I could pick out, and it gave the production a fuller sound, complemented the guitars well, and it was a nice little extra here and there to pick out in the background. Pretty decent job with the bass there, Stig. Moving right along to the drums, they were mid-volume and mix, slightly high every now and then, depending on what track and what part of the track, but they were mixed well, and it was a good EQ. They were slightly below or on par with the guitar for the most part, and this was also a very good performance throughout the album. Now talking about the particular parts of the drums themselves though, it had some good double kicks and blast beats, had some nice fills and tom work, especially in the track The Pallbearer, and it even made use of some intricate ride parts, which I of course really like, and that was in The Barrier, and both of those were part of the Walls Within Walls dual tracks. And lastly, I think I might have picked out a couple of spots here and there that included Euroblasts, perhaps? And the only last thing I could say about the drums is that perhaps the snare was a little bit tame than what I'd like. I like a little bit more stronger, punchier snare when it comes to things to really hit those accented notes for the certain parts of the riffs and beat. But other than that, I would say, again, a really good performance overall with the drums. So cheers, Frederick, on that. Alright, moving on now to my favorite tracks of the album. The first spot has to go to track number 7, The Idol in Bronze. This had a fairly standard black metal first section, but then it transitions into the most amazingly heavy, groovy, commanding riff I've heard in a long time for black metal, and then adds some moody solo work with great bass undertones halfway through, and then closing in on the last section, it also includes this fairly catchy tertiary riff. So yeah, really enjoyed the Bronze Idol, or The Idol in Bronze. Either way, excellent name for a track and so good and catchy. The second spot has to go to the Walls Within Walls dual track, The Pallbearer and The Burial, so track 4 and 5 respectively. This just had some intense, menacing riffs in it, just generally sinister black metal vibes throughout. It had a good solo-y type of accent to the main riffs at the end, I believe, or near the end. And it also had some quick, nice bass elements that popped up here and there, and you're like, there's the bass. Thank you for coming to the party. Let me just sip some wine and mumble Satan. All jokes aside, good tracks. I would even say a quick honorable mention goes to Sista Utvei and He Who Must Not Be Named. Both of those are excellent tracks as well. But the third best track on here is the first track of the album, and that is Bloodvein, or Bloodvein. And it's just the perfect representation of what you're going to get into on Omen of Darkness. It's a fairly exciting, quick opener track. A lot of quick riffs, a lot of energy, lots of blast beats, and black metal indoctrination right away. So yeah, I'd say Bloodvein Omen is a perfect setup for what's to come in this album. Alright, let's now talk about my overall thoughts. Omen of Darkness is one solid sophomore release for Flukt, a great effort forward in Flukt's career for sure. It's an album that adheres to the traditional Norwegian black metal sound of the second wave, but also is fairly distinctly Flukt's unique flavor, which is this grim, ravenous, frosty, mean, ferocious presentation. Omen of Darkness is here and it is unleashing hell. And for the last section of this review, we got to go over some weaknesses and improvements, but honestly they're just nitpicks. But I would say for future releases, maybe just slightly louder bass so I can appreciate all of the stuff that Stig is doing. And like I briefly mentioned earlier, a kind of punchier, snappier, louder snare tone would be nice, just to accent the riffs and the beats that's going on and offsets the double kicks and bass. Now, you teased me with some Black Sabbath-y type riffs in The Burial, I believe. I definitely want to hear more of that shit. You can't just sprinkle that in quickly at the end of a song and be like, that's it. Because, damn, it was good. I want to hear more of that. Also, for the vocals, it was mostly the usual demonic, higher, mid-tone growl, black metal style of vocals. I wouldn't mind in the future hearing some more deeper growls. Doesn't necessarily have to be gutturals or indecipherable pig noises or anything like that, but definitely a lower toned growl snuck in there here and there would be awesome to see. But with all that said and done, I'm still giving this album a solid 8 out of 10. I'm Jesse Morgan and I would buy this album. Do yourself a favor and check out Flukt's sophomore release, Omen of Darkness. Cheers, and thanks for watching. Until next time, for glory, for the rebellion, Slammerella out. Oh, you prick. That's gonna fall. Fucker. Shit. Piss. Piss. Okay, we're doing it backwards. Okay, this thing better stand up or I'm gonna punch a lamb in the tits.